good to have you with us here on The Last Word. The big debate tonight is Mamata versus Centre. Has politics obstructed and derailed the investigation in the mega chit fund scam? But before we go to our big debate, we've got some big breaking news coming in. Well, the UK Home Secretary has approved the extradition. He's given his nod to the order by the UK court. Vijay Mallya now has 14 days to appeal this decision. He can obviously go to a higher court, and if there he gets an adverse decision, then he can also approach the Supreme Court. But of course, we are a step closer to bringing Vijay Mallya back. Remember, the UK court, the Westminster magistrate, had given its verdict in December 2018. Meenakshi is joining us with more on this story. So Meenakshi, definitely a step closer, but it's not as if Vijay Mallya is coming back home anytime soon.
Well, that's right, and not that Mallya can be got back forthwith, because there are other procedures which need to be complied with, namely the appeal stage is still pending there. But surely Government of India is viewing this as a big shot in the arm. As we speak, Arun Jaitley has also put out his reaction by way of a tweet, Tanvi, in the public domain, where he's saying as to how the government is closer to bringing Mallya back, while the opposition is rallying around Sharda scamsters. So that apart, very quickly, Tanvi, for the sake of our viewers, the UK Home Secretary pretty much had to deal with just three points, which is this: whether under the UK statute law the extradition of Vijay Mallya was something which fell under the prohibited category or not. For that, they principally considered whether or not a death penalty would be awaiting Mallya in India, which was not the case. Whether or not the jail cell that he would be lodged in was something which was up to standards, which viewers will recall, video footage had been submitted in the Westminster court earlier to corroborate as to how the jail cells here in Bombay were adequately equipped. And thirdly, whether or not Mallya was extradited to the UK from another third country, which he was not. So within the purview of the UK statute law, since Mallya's case did not fall within the three prohibitory categories, the UK Home Secretary, Tanvi, was pretty much constrained to order his extradition, which a lot of experts here within the legal fraternity feel is procedural, because again, Mallya, like you pointed out, has 14 days time to file appeal in a superior court challenging the lower court of Westminster's decision and also the UK Home Secretary's decision. So Mallya may not be coming back to India forthwith.
All right, Meenakshi, thanks so much for joining us with that update. Quickly, let's also bring in Gaurang Kant, lawyer with the Supreme Court, on this. Gaurang, just to put this in perspective for our viewers as well, to understand what the pace of trial and cases can be in UK, how soon can Vijay Mallya be back? Because like in India, even in UK, you have multiple options of an appeal in a higher court.
True. It's the same common law which India follows. Is the same common law system which exists in United Kingdom too. So this is definitely a very positive step in the direction of getting a favorable order. Big day for the Indian government as well as the investigating agency. But at the same time, to bring him actually back, physically back to India, it will take some time, because the process of appeal is available to him, which I'm sure he's going to exhaust. So it means that he goes to the High Court, and then subsequently, if he loses, then to the Supreme Court. So we don't really see him coming back very soon. Probably the whole process would take almost 8 to 9 months or maybe more, depending on how fast the case actually progresses. So, but then again, I mean, all said and done, I think it's a big day for the investigating agencies as well as the Indian government. Finally, they have been able to get one positive judgment in their favor. So it's a big step, I think, for us. I'm sure we will get to see Vijay Mallya soon and back in this country.
All right. Thanks so much for putting that in perspective, Gaurang. We now move on to the big debate for tonight. Well, of course, the big talking point tonight is Centre versus Mamata Banerjee. And this is, of course, the face-off that got triggered with CBI moving to quiz the Kolkata Police Commissioner over the Sharda chit fund scam. Now, politics aside, viewers, because politics will continue. BJP will continue with its own rhetoric. TMC, now with the support of several other opposition leaders, will continue with their rhetoric. Oh, we don't really know, but the other person is the one who's trying to destroy the democracy. Both sides will say that. I have a very clear question tonight. Who is derailing the investigation? It has been almost 6 years since these two mega chit fund scams actually came to light. Thousands of crores of investors of the common man's money has been looted. Thousands of investors have been duped. When are we going to see justice being done? And if there were top cops and if there were top politicians who were involved in this case, when will they be brought to book? Now, why do I say that? Why is the question, is politics derailing this probe? Just take a look at some of the high-profile names who are linked to the Sharda chit fund scam. I'm going to start with those who've been quizzed in the Sharda chit fund scam. That includes Subrata Bakshi, who is a TMC member of parliament. It includes Himanta Biswa Sarma, who is a BJP leader now, was a Congress leader earlier. He's the Chief Minister of Assam. It includes Mukul Roy, who was then the TMC leader. He is now the BJP leader. Arpita Ghosh, also a TMC MP. Let's talk about those who've been arrested in the Sharda chit fund scam. Srinjoy Bose, a TMC leader. Kunal Ghosh, also a former TMC MP, a member of parliament who was later on, after much hue and cry, suspended by the TMC. Madan Mitra, at the time that he was arrested, he was actually a state minister, a TMC leader and the transport minister for the state. Rajat Majumdar, TMC vice president. These are the people who've been arrested in the Sharda chit fund scam. As you can see from those quizzed and those arrested, BJP and TMC are two parties that come up. Not just that, bigger than Sharda chit fund scam and linked to this entire investigation is the Rose Valley chit fund scam. It goes beyond West Bengal. Tapas Pal, an actor turned TMC MP, has been named and picked in this case. Sudeep Bandyopadhyay, a senior leader TMC MP, was arrested in regards to this case. Pravat Ranjan Biswal, a BJD leader, was also arrested in this case. And then there were three different CPIM leaders, MLA Badal Chaudhary, MLA Bijita Nath and Gautam Das, who were then quizzed in the Rose Valley case. Now, why am I taking all these names? These are all politicians, high-profile people, well-connected, powerful MPs and leaders, who some of whom are still there in these political parties today. So can we really expect a fair investigation? I have three very basic sets of questions. These are the questions for TMC tonight. Why block any agency from carrying out an investigation? What was the need for Mamata Banerjee to go and show support to the Kolkata Police Commissioner, who the CBI had to grill in this case? He was heading the SIT. Why should the CBI not ask him questions about this case? Why not let the law take its own course in this investigation? And my third question, isn't justice to lakhs of investors, many of whom are from West Bengal, others from Odisha, more important to our politicians, to Mamata Banerjee? Here are my different set of questions to the BJP. Why allow tainted leaders like Mukul Roy and Biswa Sarma to join the BJP, and why give them important posts? Is BJP selectively then cracking down on the corruption and talking about action against corrupt when they have actually included these ministers and these leaders in their own party? Those are the questions. Let's get straight to the debate and say good evening to Dr. Sanjay Jaiswal, MP with the BJP, Gaurang Kant, lawyer with the Supreme Court, stays with us, Anup George Chaudhary, former Advocate General of Madhya Pradesh, Tatagata Satpathy, MP for BJD, and Kamal Mitra Chanoy continues to stay with us. He's a policy analyst and a professor at JNU. And I'm going to go across to Dr. Sanjay Jaiswal. Dr. Jaiswal, what's happening here? Are we losing sight of what is important? Justice to those investors. Most of them were relatively poorer people who had their small savings that they had put into these chit funds, and they ended up losing that money. It seems like it's just a political fight now.
See, this fight is not between center and state. This fight is between poor people and those who have looted their money. And we are seeing it since so long. Nothing has happened. Nobody has been punished. It would have been much better if Mamata Banerjee would have caught all those culprits who have done this scam, and they should have been booked. But unfortunately, she was more interested in shielding them, and definitely she is having some vested interest for that. That's why the Supreme Court has to intervene, and whatever the CBI was doing was by the order of Supreme Court. When Mr. Sudip Bandyopadhyay to Mukul Roy can be grilled, why not the chairman of the SIT can be grilled by the CBI? And how come a senior IPS officer is sitting on a dharna with Chief Minister? It means that there is a hobnobbing between Mamata Banerjee and the police commissioner, and they both are shielding the real culprit. Now everybody doubts whether the real culprit is Mamata Banerjee, so that she is trying to avoid all the investigations. The law clearly says that the CBI can go to the state only by two means, whether if state allows or the Supreme Court gives an order to them. So everything was happening under the jurisdiction of Supreme Court, and this police commissioner has been called more than 3 times for CBI inquiry. He never cooperated with them. When Chief Minister of Gujarat can be grilled for 9 hours by CBI, and neither it was opposed by the Chief Minister of Gujarat, nor it was opposed by any BJP member that why you are grilling Mr. Narendra Modi. Because if somebody is on truth, he does not need to shy away from anything.
Yes.
But those who have got their vested interests, those who are involved in scam, naturally they have got some vested interests. That's why they don't want to come in front of CBI. If a police commissioner is clean, why he should avoid coming in front of CBI? Or he is a senior IPS officer. He knows law very well. Why they are just having a dream that in 2019 Mr. Modi might not be in power, and then all our cases will be cleared. And that's why all those people who are on bail at present, they are supporting Ms. Banerjee so that they can be saved from CBI and from other investigating agencies.
Okay, let me bring in Mr. Mr. Chenoy. Mr. Chenoy, the fact of the matter is that today, those who actually were even attacking Mamata Banerjee in 2014, 2015, 2016 over the Sharda chit fund scam and the names of TMC leaders that had popped up, including the Congress, including the RJT, they all targeted the TMC. Then they've all come out in support with her now. But is it right? Should we buy this argument of BJP is trying to destroy the democracy when in fact all that they seem to be doing is protecting a Kolkata police commissioner?
Firstly, about the Kolkata Police Commissioner, there was a stay given by the Calcutta High Court. So there the CBI really was preemptive. But the more serious thing is what is happening to the poor people of West Bengal. And I think that should be the item which is given the most importance. And the very fact that all the parties have not got together to make sure that the Sharda scandal and other scandals are put together is very sad, because what is happening is you're weakening the fiber of the people who don't know where to go from pillar to post. So I think it is extremely important, because they don't have the advantage of going to the Calcutta High Court to get a stay. They don't have the advantage of going to the CBI. They don't have even the advantage of going to the police commissioner. But those who are suffering as the poor, and for years, West Bengal was seen as a place which there was a move towards egalitarianism. But from what I hear from this gentleman now, and I've heard for the last few years, it's shocking that people have been looted this way. And this could not have been done unless powerful interests shielded the people who looted these people. It's a very sad thing. And yes, I don't think that is the most important thing Mamata Banerjee should do on her dais, but it is something she should do and say that I will help the people of West Bengal and get their money back.
But how is she doing that? Because if you see, Two of our former ministers were arrested in this case. Several of our leaders have been quizzed and named in this case. Some of them have actually now abandoned her and gone to the BJP also. And so when the CBI is trying to question the man who led the SIT probe, why should she stand up and defend him?
She used the High Court judgment, but the fact is, as the saying, and I'm sure my colleague also would say, that justice delayed is justice denied. So what has happened to these people is basically justice denied. And Mamata Banerjee, as the Chief Minister of West Bengal, owes it to these people for them to get their looted money back. I mean, she may be important in this particular case, but basically she is answerable to the people, and especially the poor people. And it is very unfortunate. Yes, this issue which is out there is important, but it's also a political sideshow, right, where the poor people get nothing to say because they're completely disenfranchised.
Absolutely. Let me bring in our legal experts as well. And just for our viewers' understanding, these two, the Sharda chit fund scam, which is relatively smaller in nature, but when I say small, I still mean at least 4,000 to 6,000 crore rupees, if not more. The Rose Valley chit fund scam actually is allegedly bigger than even 20,000 crore rupees. Some reports suggest 60,000 crore rupees. The problem with chit fund scams or Ponzi schemes is that you really don't know how much of money these guys have managed to raise, how much of money people have invested. Now, in the Sahara case, Subrata Roy was in jail for many years, and it was a big struggle to get that money back. But in this case, while the corporate side of people have been arrested and sent to jail, we don't know any update on the money front, and we definitely know that those politicians and those cops who were involved haven't really been convicted yet. So let me take it across to Gaurang Kant and ask him this question. Mr. Kant, who is derailing this case? When you have so many politically connected people involved, can we really expect justice?
Well, absolutely, yes. And I think the reason why the Supreme Court had intervened and had taken and had given the case to CBI to investigate is only because of the fact the case was not really moving when it was being investigated by the local police in West Bengal. So that was the need why the Supreme Court had transferred this matter to the CBI. And now, to come in between the Supreme Court and the CBI, and for the state government to take an action like this, where the CM is actually supporting the commissioner, going out and sitting on a dharna, is something which is absolutely unheard of. And who she's trying to protect. If the CBI is an independent agency, is there to investigate this matter, I don't know why she's not letting the CBI function. To say that she had not given consent under Section 6 of the DSP Act, it is something which is much subsequent. And to make it worse for her, this is an investigation which has been directed by the Supreme Court. So those sections, those acts don't really help her in any way. So the CBI is entitled to carry on with the investigation. And if the CBI goes there and tries to investigate a police officer, then I don't see any reason for the entire dispensation in West Bengal to really, fall in line with him. And even the police officer sitting on a dharna with the CM, what does it show? It shows there's something much more to hide. There is something which, probably the chief minister has to hide. That is the reason why the police commissioner is getting this kind of support from the dispensation. Otherwise, if things are clear, like rightly been pointed out, that if, Narendra Modi can sit there and, get investigated by the CBI, then what really holds the police commissioner to come forward and divulge and be a, part of the investigation? If there's something which the CBI needs to ask him, why doesn't he go and cooperate? There are 3 notices which have already been sent out to him, but he never even showed any sign of, joining the investigation, which really raises a lot of doubts about the entire way the state government is actually supporting it and trying to shield him.
Yes, Mr. Anup Chaudhary, thank you for joining us. Do you agree that this is not the right time and the place for politicians to enter, to step in and to make such comments, and not just Mamata Banerjee who's sitting on a dharna, but Tejasvi Yadav who's visiting her on that dharna, Kanimori who's visiting her on that dharna, and they're all now giving these speeches and making it sound as if everybody is getting together to fight against this one dictatorial party and protect the democracy. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, the police commissioner of Kolkata was at one point of time the man heading this investigation. The CBI has sent him 3 notices that they wanted to quiz him, and now we are not allowing that to happen.
You know, unfortunately, everybody here wants to see it from a particular angle. We have to view this dispassionately from a purely legal angle, and the action of the CBI, whether it was justified or unjustified, and what was the tearing hurry to visit the police commissioner's residence on Sunday at 6 p.m. with 40 CBI personnel. He is not an accused. Only a summons under section 160 CRPC has been sent to him. They say he has not responded. What I heard from the media was that he has given 3 pointed replies to every question that they had asked. Be as it may, I'm not going into the merits of the whole thing. Now, what are you there for? They say we are for questioning. You don't need 40 personnel to question. You could have easily waited, or like I heard today, Mr. A.P. Singh, a former director of the CBI, who said in such circumstances, they should have first written to the Chief Secretary or to the Chief Minister saying that he is not cooperating. And where's the question of cooperation? Now, very strangely enough, the very Supreme Court, which must be touted about, there was only, the FIR was registered, as I believe, in 2013. But in 2014 itself, the Supreme Court, while appreciating the SIT, headed by the present police commissioner, the efforts to investigate, directed, since it was a larger area to be covered by different states were involved, directed the CBI to investigate. Now, it's been 5 years since that. What have we in front of us in 5 years? Except that, this is what creates a wrong impression, and wrong perceptions are created for nothing. Today, I heard Mr. Javadkar saying that there is a red diary and there is a pen drive. Now, these are investigation matters. If the CBI is sharing these details with the BJP leaders, need not be and should not be done at all. But this undue haste that was shown is not required. He is a very senior police officer. And 160, what is a 160 summon? Sorry, nobody knows over here on this thing. 160 summon under section 160 of the CRPC, you are merely asked as a witness, because they are saying we went to question him, not interrogate. Please understand. One of the friends here used the word grilling. There is no question of grilling involved in it. He said we are only going to question him. But why can't you question him? Go to his office, take a time. If he does not give the time, it's the Supreme Court monitored investigation. You could have filed an application before the Supreme Court. Look here, you asked us to investigate. It's not that the heavens would have fallen in 24 hours. After all, today the Supreme Court has gone to the CBI has approached the Supreme Court, who has fixed the case. The bench has been constituted, and tomorrow a 3-judge bench is going to hear it in the Supreme Court. Similarly, they could have approached the Supreme Court and said, so all this ugly situation could have been avoided. It was a very well avoidable thing that could have been done. But I don't know why this ham-handed approach of 40 people trying to show muscularity. Are you really going to question a terrorist or something?
Mr. Gaurankant, do you want to? Yes.
Very easily avoidable situation.
Well, absolutely. I think first of all, I was just reading, I was just seeing the ticker right here. You know, there were only 11 police personnel who had actually gone there. So to make that kind of allegation that there were 40 people is absolutely incorrect. He should not rely on media reports. You know, on
not allegation, that's what the newspaper report said.
And
sorry.
then secondly,
if they are 11, then
that's
I'm
not
sorry.
true. Well, you should not rely on news.
Reported.
You should not make that kind of statement. You're a responsible person. You should not make that kind of a statement.
And then again to say that the Supreme Court,
okay,
one minute, okay. Of the Supreme Court is also not correct.
Yes, it's all 1 minute. So let me clarify this. There are
actually hearing the contempt.
Mr. Kant, let me just clarify this. There are media reports that suggested initially. Yes, media reports did suggest initially that about 40 officials at various locations were put in place to go and find the Kolkata Police Commissioner, who at one point was also reportedly missing. But yes, from what we have learned from our CBI sources, and I'm going to clarify and emphasize on that aspect, that the report that's been sent from the local Kolkata CBI team to the central team now about what happened last night claims that about 11 CBI officials went to the residence last evening, and that's how the entire drama unfolded. And instead, those 11 officials were then told to get into this jeep by the Kolkata police team, and when they tried to resist that, they were pushed into this jeep. And CBI sources claim that the Kolkata police actually wanted to find out from them what was the plan. They wanted to know what is it that the CBI was investigating and what CBI's plan was. I just wanted to put that in perspective. Go ahead now, Mr. Kant, and finish your point.
Well, absolutely, Tanvi. I mean, this is very unfortunate that, those CBI officials who had actually been, discharging their duty are actually taken by the police, the Calcutta police, which is very unfortunate. These kind of situations should never actually happen. And then to that extent that those people, he had gone there to take, 160. When he's saying 160, he's a witness. Definitely you can go and record a statement of the witness. It is not that. And even if it is a Sunday, I don't think so. Investigating agency really needs to look into that, whether it's a Saturday or Sunday. We should actually appreciate the fact that the cops are going there and are doing and discharging their duty. We should not. Well, absolutely they can, but there's nothing which stops him from going there and recording a statement. So I think that is absolutely unfair to state that, it is a Sunday, so what is the tearing hurry? Well, the hurry is that, the matter has already been lingering on for such a long time. And tomorrow when we are talking about the Supreme Court, we all know that there's a contempt which has been filed because the entire investigation is actually being, done by the Supreme Court. So there's a contempt application which has been filed. Tomorrow the court will actually look into it whether there has been a contempt on the part of the official or not. And if they are able to bring in any evidence, then I think the CGI has already indicated that he's going to take a very strict stand on it. So we will see what exactly will happen tomorrow. So we'll see that,
I have one question before I go across. I'm going to get Mr. Tathagata Satpathy.
CBI wanting to take a strict stand.
Yes, I'm going to get Mr. Tathagata Satpathy of BJD in just a bit, but very quickly.
I already told the CBI today.
Mr. Anupjot Chaudhary, here is my question.
Do not disclose anything against the police commissioner.
Okay, I have this question for our legal experts before I go back to our political experts. My question is, does the CBI have the right to question, to search a property or to arrest somebody without a warrant? Because we are given to understand CBI didn't have a warrant yesterday.
Not without a warrant.
No, they do not.
But they have not gone there to arrest somebody, or they have not gone there to search, so they were there to probably record a...
Where's the question of arresting?
Yes, and also the High Court had ruled out the CBI going to the
themselves they were not there to arrest.
There was no question of arresting.
The High Court has actually stated.
All right, so no question of arrest. They weren't going there to arrest, but I'm not too sure if the Bengal police knew what was happening, if they were being raided, searched. Yes, the Commissioner of Police is not an accused. He can only be quizzed because he was the one leading the SIT so far.
Commissioner of Police is not an accused in this case. He has not been made an accused.
Fair enough, Mr. Chaudhary. I take that point. Let me go across to Tathagata Satpathy, MP with the BJD. Some of the BJD leaders and those linked to the party have also been linked to the Sharda chit fund scam and to the Rose Valley scam. One of them was also arrested a few years ago. Mr. Satpathy, tonight what we are talking about is justice to those thousands of investors who put their hard-earned money in these two scams. And the fact that the investigation seems to be blocked, obstructed and derailed at every step because of politicians. Your comments.
Ask me?
I have two opinions. The first opinion is that investigation... Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Satpathy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
The first point that I want to make is that investigation should never be disturbed, should never be interfered with. That is an accepted fact. I think every law-abiding citizen would want that, and I also want it. But the way the CBI has been functioning, the way the central government wings have been functioning lately, speaks volumes that this could possibly be used as political score settling, and that may not be a good thing for the country in the long run. And I believe that investors who wanted to become millionaires overnight without working do deserve justice. It is important that the poor who invested their money, hard-earned money as you put it, hoping that they will rake in a huge profit in a short while, do definitely deserve justice. There is no second opinion about it. But the other side is the investigating agencies have lost credibility. CBI is no more a holy institution that people trust anymore. Whenever CBI is given a case, we never hear the end of it. All I am wanting to find out is if these chit fund scams have happened some 7-8 years ago, and this government, this particular CBI has been investigating it for more than 5 years, why weren't these things done earlier? What was the reason for this lull in the storm, and suddenly just before elections, it's happening everywhere? Were the people who had invested their hard-earned money, as you put it, in these chit funds, hoping for raking in a lot of money overnight without working, didn't they deserve justice earlier? Why is it that we delayed giving them justice?
Okay.
And that age-old cliched phrase that justice delayed is justice denied also comes into play now.
Okay, let me take that point across to Dr. Jaiswal of the BJP. Dr. Jaiswal, you want to respond to that? Why suddenly remember that there was this one specific case as well and speed up on the investigation now?
See, it's not about speeding up of the investigation. It was simply the CBI has gone there for questioning about different things with the police commissioner. It was nothing with the speeding, because if it should have been done by the government of West Bengal, providing justice to the poor people. If they would have provided it, there would not have been any need of Supreme Court intervention. And I doesn't agree with Mr. Satpathy. I really don't agree with him, frankly speaking. But he is saying that this is absolutely monitored by Supreme Court.
I also never agree with you or your
interfered
leaders.
in anything. whatever thing. No, yeah, that's another thing. But this is monitored by Supreme Court. This is not monitored by anyone else. And if you don't believe in Supreme Court, then things are quite different. And it was a simple inquiry, but
everything.
it is
we know
being
about the
used
courts, we
as
know
a
about the
tool
RBI.
for all
The whole
those
country
people who
sees,
are involved in scam to save so-called government. It's a clear cut that all the scamsters from Tejasvi Yadav to Mayawati to everyone
once your
who
government goes out
to
of
Rahul
power, you
Gandhi,
will have scams
who all
against
are
your
on
government
bail,
also.
they all are hobnobbing with Mamata Banerjee, so that they are trying to pass the time.
Your leaders are on bail for murder too.
They have got a daydream that after May 9.
Okay, so I have, okay.
There's nothing wrong. This CBI has inquired Mukul Roy also.
Yes.
No one should be shying away of an inquiry of CBI. Let everything come. Everything is being monitored by
because
Supreme
you
Court.
yourself
Let
are
them
raising
decide
this
that
question,
whether
Dr.
the
Jaiswal,
CBI has done
why
their work well or not.
when this case came to light, and when this case came to light, and when Mukul Roy was questioned, the investigation was still on. The investigation is still on. Why did the BJP think it was okay to bring him on board? Does that not also make you look like a hypocrite, because he is still being quizzed in reference to a case? Same goes for Himanta Biswa Sarma. When his name has popped up, the investigation is still on. CBI is still looking at the case. Why bring him on board and make him the chief minister?
Let the Supreme Court decide. I
Sputter,
am not
sputter,
saying that
sputter.
Mamata Banerjee is the boss of everything, of all the scams. I am not saying that. But let everyone is allowed, the CBI can grill anyone. Let them ask the questions what they want to ask. They have to report it to Supreme Court. Supreme Court will decide that who are the culprits and who are not. Who, I, you or somebody else we will decide that this person is
So why not
wrong
let
or
the
this person
Supreme
is
Court
right.
run the government?
But here the West Bengal government failed to provide justice to the poor people. Yes, Mr. Satpathy? Are you asking something from
Why
me, Mr.
not let
Satpathy?
the Supreme Court run the government? You are the government.
Okay.
Take
So,
a call sometime. Don't always put everything. We know the
See,
whole
it's
country
not-
knows what the
see,
Supreme Court
see.
will say tomorrow. They will go into an academic discussion about whether this kind of a thing can be done or not, and they will leave it to the executive. They will again leave it back at square one. We know. It's all known now. Nothing is a secret. So why are you elected by the people to run this country,
So
to
it's
operate
my
the
personal
government?
opinion. If
Why
they
are
leave
you
it to the
failing there?
executive,
Please answer that.
They-
It doesn't matter whether you agree with me or not. I don't care.
no way. So,
Okay, let me bring in our other panelists
anything
as
which
well.
is under the
Just
jurisdiction
waiting,
of
sir.
Supreme Court, I
Waiting,
don't
sir.
Right.
think so.
Let me bring in our other
Any
panelists
government,
as well.
Not even our government, any government.
No, I
cannot
don't think this is a
decide
fair
anything
argument
if
or
the
excuse
matter
for
is
any
in
party
Supreme
to
Court.
give
There are
us
so many.
that the Supreme Court will decide, so why should we get into it? You can't give platforms to those who are being quizzed, who are being named, who are being accused, because otherwise you're giving them more power at a time when they can use that power to influence any investigation, which is why I keep coming back to this point, which I started with. Look at the list of people from TMC, from BJP, even BJD, who have been named, who have been questioned, who've been linked to this specific two chit fund scams. How can we expect a fair investigation at any point? And then look at the state of CBI itself. I mean, an agency that is going through a crisis by itself, can we really trust their investigation? Mr. Anup George Chaudhary wanted to come. Mr. Anup George Chaudhary wanted to come in.
Was sitting on dharna with Mamata Banerjee.
Yes.
So, as a chairman of SIT, he should have punished all those people who are involved from BJP. He is already a party. He is not a police commissioner. He is sitting with Mamata Banerjee. So, why not Miss Mamata Banerjee and Rajiv Kumar named the culprits who are there in the BJP? Who has
Okay,
stopped
point
them?
taken. I think
He
it is
was the
frankly
chairman,
very, very
but
inappropriate
what we
for
are
the
listening
Kolkata
that
Police
he
Commissioner,
has
a man
hidden
in
all
uniform,
the-
and for a politician to share stage, and for even Mamata Banerjee to come out in his defense like this when an investigation is still going on. That being said, as my own opinion, let me go across to Anup George Chaudhary. He has been wanting to make a point, and then we'll bring in our other panelists. Yes, Mr. Chaudhary.
Yes. I tell you, the gentleman of the BJP is talking about respect of the Supreme Court and everyone must follow and all that. What has happened in Sabarimala issue? The entire BJP has been flouting the order of the Supreme Court. The Prime Minister openly, literally spoke against the Supreme Court order in the sense to say that why should this interfere in the religious matters? I'll give you another example. In Sukma, Chhattisgarh, there was a killing of innocent villagers by the allegedly by the Chhattisgarh police. The Supreme Court directed investigation in 2016, and the CBI officers who had gone there were assaulted by the local police. They went and hid themselves for their lives, and they were saved by the CRPF just in the nick of time. So this is all right to have one way to. I was not going to say this. But every time and then they say Supreme Court, then respect the Supreme Court all around.
Right.
And therefore, all this is, I think, being very hypocritical and is degenerating into saying Mamata did this, Mamata did that. We are talking what was the need for the CBI emergency where an investigation pending for the last 5 years. In one day, what would have happened? You couldn't have gone, you could have gone to the Chief Secretary, you could have gone to the court, you could have approached the Supreme Court like you're doing now. Same thing, you could have approached the Supreme Court if it was such an emergency matter.
Till the elections are over. No. Do you want to say that CBI should not question anyone till the elections are over? Do you want to say that?
At a selected time, you're not going on Sunday evening at somebody's residence, and he's a witness. And should I tell you the law? The law is that a witness can refuse to join.
They have not gone there to arrest him.
A witness can refuse to answer questions. That is his prerogative. He has the right to say no. And will not answer the questions. Of course. If he has not
1 minute, gentlemen. Can't understand.
Now make him an accused. Let it be so.
Right. Gaurang Kant, you wanted to say something, and then I have a question for Kamal Mitra Chenoy.
Him an accused if he refuses to answer questions.
I'm just saying that, you know, let the CBI do its investigation. It is very unfortunate that we are making everything very political. I think the fact that Mamata Banerjee initially had made this statement that since she has, you know, gone against or made a representation that both, you know, she will not go by the CBI dictate, it's very unfortunate. I mean, we are doing both. We are not letting an independent agency do its investigation. At the same time, we are also flouting the Supreme Court order. So we are doing both. We are not letting the law of the land actually function. The action of the state government actually reflects that they have no respect for the constitution. The action on the part of the police commissioner reflects that he is absolutely hand in glove with the, you know, the political dispensation, sitting on a dharna. It is a very unfortunate situation. And to say that why the CBI has gone there on a Sunday evening is worse, because the fact that CBI is actually doing its work. Rather than giving a pat on their back, stating that they are even working on Sundays, it is easier to accuse them that why they have gone on a Sunday. And if they are actually investigating a witness, he can deny, yes, then the CBI is at liberty to knock on the doors of the court and do whatever procedure is available for them in law.
Okay, very quickly, let me just bring in Mr. Chenoy as well.
They will follow the law.
Yes, very quickly, let me bring in Mr. Chenoy as well. And here is a question that has been put forward by one of our viewers. So I'm just going to put that across to you, Mr. Chenoy. Isn't it also slightly odd that Mamata Banerjee didn't go on a dharna, didn't cry foul when her ministers and her leaders were being arrested and were being taken back and forth to the court? And but when it comes to one police commissioner, she's doing it. I mean, how else do you see it except for the fact that it's election season, just a few months to general election?
Well, you know, I find it passing strange that you have a huge pandal, you have a huge floor, you have police commissioners, etc., all there. Is this a form of governance?
Yes.
Is the money that is being spent on this going to help the people in the Sharda scam, etc.? And one important point that our BJP friend made, I mean, and the others made, that if you go to the poorer areas, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, etc., where people like me worked on NREGA, the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, we found that the situation there is floundering because the structures that should have given these poor people power and empowered them are not there. So from the bottom to the top, till the Sharda scam, you have a system which is rotting. So I plead with the honorable people there, the politicians, the people who are interested in what is happening to the country, that we should really get beyond some things, and where there are sideshows, we should ignore them. We should not create them as something very good. If Mamata Banerjee gets power from sitting next to a police commissioner, good luck to her. But we are more interested in power to the people. And that we have not seen in this episode.
All right, I'm completely out of time here, so I'm afraid we'll have to wrap up this conversation. And thank you to all of our panelists who have joined us. But I think it is for people to decide. Because on both sides, politicians are going to come to you and try and convince you. See, the other side is more corrupt. See, the other side is the one that is actually protecting the corrupt. But do any of them have any moral standing in this specific case? Thousands of investors put in small little sums of money hoping to get some big returns. They got lured in. Perhaps many of them didn't know better. But what about justice to them? In these almost 6 years, no party has made an attempt to bring justice to those people. Leaders from big parties are involved, are linked to this chit fund scam. Not Mamata Banerjee, not the BJP, not the BJD, not even the left, not even the Congress. None of them really have a moral standing today to stand up and say, oh, the other side is killing democracy or the other side is corrupt, because they're all doing the same thing, looking out for their own and playing politics at the cost of common citizens and their interest. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.